Hello folks, Lord Xenon here once again with Violet Willow, and today we are playing Haukke Manor. Haukke Manor is a level 28 dungeon that sinks to level 31 and is thus the first dungeon you can play while applying a job rather than a class. As you saw in my bonus video, if you watched it, I have upgraded to the Summoner class. I have a couple new abilities to show off. The first is the new summon I'm using. I'm using it for its summon in this particular dungeon, because at this point, until I upgrade my other pets, this one's a little more powerful. I also have Bane, and I'm going to show off Bane very soon, and why it is one of the most useful spells in the Summoner's arsenal. Alright, first off, these Manor maidservants really need to be focused down first, because of that ability there, which can be stunned if you have a character with the stun ability. You need to make sure to go into this room. Alright, now I'm going to use my Bio and Miasma, then I'm going to cast Bane. And Bane is going to spread that Bio and Miasma to all the targets in the area. So, you know, whereas before in the dungeons I was applying one by one Bio and Miasma, now I just apply it to one target, use Bane, which costs one ether flow point, and that will apply it to everybody in the area. A lot quicker and a lot more efficient. The other ability that I have slotted where I had my, Emerald Carbuncle's AoE ability is an ability called Radiant Shield, which applies a shield to Ifrit and everybody around him. That basically, whenever somebody attacks somebody with the shield active, it will apply a physical damage down, or a physical damage, yeah, a debuff that, there it is, physical vulnerability up. So they'll take more physical damage if they attack somebody with the Radiant Shield. With Bane, it is so much more effective to get everybody their the Bio and Miasma dots. And it is really the first effective AoE spell that summoners get. Again, kill the maidservant first. Now the key that we picked up in the previous room, we'll open that door there. Now you'll notice I'm doing the manually applying dots here, simply because I don't have any ether flow stacks, so I can't Bane if I don't have those. It is at this point in the game where ether flow management becomes a little more of an issue, because there's a 1 minute cooldown on ether flow. And once you burn those stacks, you gotta wait for it to recharge. Alright, we have our tiny key, so we will open the door. I'll wait for the tank to do that. There's a maidservant in there. Ah, there we go. They stunned the maidservant, which interrupted that attack. And they're really easy to kill. They actually don't have a lot of HP. They just have an extremely powerful point-blank AoE attack. Okay, this is an optional room. We don't actually have to go in here. you can, when you're using Ifrit, make sure you're applying Radiant Shield, as it really does help to weaken the enemies. Okay, this tank is being smart. It's a very viable strategy in this part of the dungeon to pull the enemies back here, because the Manor maid servants in this area tend to roam. And they will roam right into your... They'll roam right up into your range and start aggroing on you, and then fire off that point-blank AoE. Now, one thing about Bane, it does have what is known as damage fall-off. So, for each additional target that Bane hits, the effectiveness of the dots are going to be less. So you can hit a lot of targets with it, but the more targets you hit with it, the less damage each additional target is going to take from it. Got a little too aggressive with that maidservant, but I figured we'd kill it before it got to be an issue. Is there a key in that room? Yes. Yeah, we definitely need to get one, because we used one up that we really didn't need to, but that's, again, there is nothing wrong with exploring every nook and cranny of this dungeon and getting more XP from enemies. Alright, this tank decided to pull that enemy group there again. You can ignore that group if you so desire. But there's nothing wrong with pulling every enemy you have in here if you so desire. So far, so good. Again, with the trash pulls in this dungeon, you mainly have to worry about the Manor maidservants. Take care of them quickly, stun them if you can. We came in here and didn't get the treasure coffer? As I recall, the pots of fine wax used to be actually a really valuable crafting item. People would run this dungeon just to get the wax. Alright, this boss is very straightforward. Apply your dots, stay out of your AoEs, rinse and repeat until the Manor Claviger is dead. I don't know if I've mentioned it, this is actually one of my favorite early game dungeons. While I think designers got a lot more creative with a lot of the dungeons in the later expansions, among the dungeons prior to level 50, I think this one is my favorite. I just have always loved haunted house levels, and this is a haunted house level, to be sure. For those of you who are following the story, I have been skipping most of it, but basically, the gist of this dungeon is that there is the lady of the house used to be this very beautiful, very kind person But when the calamity hit 5 years ago, she was horribly scarred, and it changed her, scarred not just physically but mentally, and she's always been wanting to try to get her beauty back, and began to resort to dark powers to do so, and it has gone so far as human sacrifice, and we can't be having that, so we're not having that. We're actually going to deal with the lady of the house. Alright, we did the jump off the cliff method, which allows you to avoid those enemies up there on the stairs. So yeah, but as I was saying before about the story, yeah, this is basically about dealing with this once beautiful and kind woman who lost her beauty but kept her vanity. Oh, my sister-in-law is online. Which means my brother is probably also online. These trash pulls are just like the ones on the first floor. Deal with the manor maidservant first, then deal with everybody else. I'm gonna refresh my Bane. I guess I hit Bane too quickly. Yeah, there is a trick and you gotta watch out for, because your bio is an instant cast. You have to watch and make sure it actually applies before you use Bane. Otherwise, Bane will technically go off before the bio dot is applied, and you won't actually apply the bio dot to your targets. So a little bit of patience, and don't trigger it as fast as I did there. Watch until you actually see the icon. Here, I'll do it right now. There, now I have both icons, so I will Bane, and that will ensure that everything gets affected. Alright, there's the maidservant. Let's apply. And this waiting for the dots to apply before you activate the abilities is going to be even more important later on when we get the ability Fester. Which will be, well, you unlock it at level 35, but as discussed in the prior bonus video, you also have to clear the Titan normal fight, which I'm a long way from even qualifying for the Titan normal fight. I've got a whole other dungeon in between now and then. So who knows when I'm actually going to get Fester, but it is one of the most useful abilities in the Summoner's Arsenal. And is really one of the primary forms of damage, even into late game. Alright, in this room is the yellow key. I didn't mention, I should have, that in the first boss chamber, when you beat the boss, instead of continuing on to through the door, that will just take you back to the it'll just take you back to the first room of the dungeon, basically. Instead, you turn around, leave the way you came, and then open the door with the key that you obtained in that room. Alright. Good. The tank marked. This is the traditional way to fight it. You fight the Jester first, then the Steward. Now, I will Bane, but I will focus my attacks on the Jester. Baning just allows me to get some damage off on the Steward without putting so much damage onto it that I draw hate away. Alright, I'm going to refresh my dots. And Bane. Energy drain used for a little more damage, and the Jester is down. Now we switch to the Steward. I'll refresh the dots, even though I probably really didn't need to. One advantage to Bio 2 over Bio when you get the upgrade is that it lasts longer. Alright, I'm going to Radiant Shield. I'm going to Radiant Shield. There we go. Alright, he drops a slip of bloody parchment. I'm going to roll on these items before I do anything else. Alright, did we get the parchment? Yes, we did. So, next thing we do is cast Return. When you are in a dungeon and you use the Return ability, it returns you to the entrance of the dungeon, which is exactly where we need to go, because now that we have the slip of bloody parchment, we can open the sealed barrier and get to the second floor of the house. Always refresh ether flow when you have time. Like that. Are we going that way? Okay. This hallway is another optional hallway. These enemies do not have to be fought. But, again, if you're looking for additional experience or some of the loot that can be found in the rooms later down the hall, it's perfectly acceptable to come this way. Early on, when this game was relatively new, it was commonplace to go down this hallway, even though it wasn't necessary, just to get the additional experience and loot. Wow. Someone's bringing the deeps. I can't believe I drew hate on that guy. Oh yeah, we got plenty of keys. So it would have sucked if we'd come all the way over here and didn't have a key. Alright. Are they in range of Bane? Not really. Now they're probably in range of Bane. Yes. This is why, as a tank, it's great to bunch everybody up as close as possible for the sake of the AoE moves. And, oh yeah, there's an accessory in there. I'll agreed on it. If I ever level a healer with this character. I have been leveling a tank with this character, because it's actually a very effective way of getting company seals to upgrade my Grand Company rank. Because the Adventurer in Need bonus in the Duty Roulette is almost inevitably a tank bonus. So you can get a lot of company seals just by doing a daily roulette with tank. And I'm leveling it up almost as fast as I'm leveling up my Summoner. Because I'm getting 2 or 3 levels per dungeon. And the advantage of playing a tank or a healer is that you get you get into the dungeons a lot quicker. Okay. Remember I talked about Lady Amandine? Well, there she is. She's now a full-blown succubus. And let's do this. Alright, this boss is a little more complicated. Again, not terribly difficult by any stretch of the imagination, but it has its moments. I'm going to back off into a corner here, because there's a mechanic that's going to happen that I'm going to need to pay attention to. Alright, the Void Lamps are going to start hitting everybody for small amounts of damage over time. We need to turn them off. Oh, that one's still up. Alright, that's all of them. So now I will focus on the boss again. And Act 2. Now an ad will appear, and we'll start going after whoever is taking out the lamps. Hopefully, the tank will pick it up. As a ranged fighter, either a ranged male or any sort of ranged player or caster, you're going to want to take out as many of the void lamps in the back of the room as possible. Okay, I did not save a Bane for this. The trick is you got to take out what I think our Dragoon didn't realize, or Lancer rather, is that you need to take out the Manor Sentry to get through her stone skin, which gives her all sorts of additional HP. Once the stone skin's down, however, she drops like a rock. So there you have it. Really, all you got to worry about in that fight is dealing with the ads as they come and turning off the void lamps. And if you are a caster, like a summoner, you're going to want to spend a lot of time worrying about those lamps. You're probably going to end up taking 2, just like I did. Alright, so that is Haukke Manor, one of my all-time favorite dungeons. Next up on the docket, when I unlock it, it's alright, is going to be Brayflox's Long Stop. So until then, have a wonderful day, and hope you enjoyed the video.